I think we can get started. And even if people jump on after, they should be able to jump right in. You can also rewind. So you can, even if we're in the middle of it, you can rewind and go back if you want. Just a heads up on that though, like if we're in the middle of doing an activity and you rewind and then you go back, we might already be on to the next activity. Samoas, of course, another classic. Aren't they all classics? Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start by reading a little bit about knife safety on our knife safety sheet, like Patch of the Month sheet, and then we'll get started on the first step. So, knowing how to handle and use knives is an important skill for girls to learn. It gives girls a sense of independence, ownership in tasks that require the use of knives, and necessary emergency skills and knowledge. Those who gain respect for tools at a young age generally treat all tools with consideration and respect. This knowledge will pay off in other ways as they grow older. An important and versatile tool for camping, the pocket knife or jackknife, is safe when handled carefully. It may have more than one blade or tool. It may include an awl for drilling holes, a can opener, or a combination screwdriver and bottle cap opener. And I actually do not have one. So I have like my kitchen knife in a sheath. We'll go over, should always keep your knife in a sheath. Unfortunately, I don't have a pocket knife. But we're using what we have at home because we're all staying home. Okay, so this patch will focus on the basic safety of using knives, as well as the basic using of a knife. According to GSUSA's 2019 Safety Activity Checkpoints, Daisy Girl Scouts can only learn basic knife safety with cardboard or wood knives. So if you have like a plastic knife or a kitchen butter knife, that works just as well too. And if you're younger, make sure you have a parent supervising as well, which I'm sure if you're on Facebook, you already do. Okay, so our first step is to discover. We're going to discover how to use a knife safely. We're going to connect, so we'll be making a paper knife. You might have seen the little template. There we go. Oh, there we go. So we'll be using that to make a paper practice knife. And then we'll do our third step, which is take action. We'll use a knife to carve something in a bar of soap. So I have, you can see, a bar of soap. It's just, you can always already see I was practicing. But this is actually one that my mom got from a hotel. So we probably would never use it otherwise. But that's my little bar of soap that I have. And if you have clay or Play-Doh, that'll work as well. Okay, so our first step. What are knives used for and what are the safety aspects? So knives are used for various things. So if you want to type in the comments a few things that you would use a knife for, and I'll read some of them out loud. Oh, it looks like my coworker Stephanie has jumped on. Hi, Stephanie. Some ways that we can use knives. And it looks like the comments are a little behind, like live, so we might have to wait a couple seconds. Oh, cutting grapes. Yes, cutting food. Absolutely. Cooking or camping. Yes, definitely an essential to have a knife when you're camping. A knife for cutting. Yes, exactly. Cutting food, cutting apples and steaks. Cutting, carving. Carving's a good one. We're actually going to do that today. We're going to be carving soap. But I know a lot of people use it to carve wood too. Spread butter. Yeah, definitely. Making kindling. Yes, that is awesome. Definitely essential for camping. Cutting ropes. Hunting and fishing, absolutely. See a lot of cutting and carving. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about cutting and carving. Crafting, yep. This carving soap is like a craft. It is a craft. Food, cooking, ropes. Yeah, all essentials, especially when you're camping. Okay, I think we got a good list going. My dad uses one for self-defense as his job. Yeah, absolutely. That we won't be going over that today, but yes, definitely a lot of people use it as self-defense, especially for jobs. Police officers carry knives as well. Emergency haircut. Probably not. I'm going to say that's probably not safest, but very cute. Okay, yes, cutting and carving. Okay, so we do have a list of safety check things to go through. You might have this list. It's okay if you don't have it printed out. I know a lot of people probably don't have printers at home. But before we do go over this list, let's make our paper knife first so we can practice some of the things that are on here. So you would have seen, oh, I need this paper again. There's a template here for a paper knife that you can make. Again, I know some people probably weren't able to print it out, but it's a pretty easy template if you want to just hand draw it. So I'm first going to cut this out, and then I'm going to take, I didn't have construction paper, but I have these yellow like note cards. So if you want to just use this, cut this out and use the paper one, that's perfectly fine. If you just want to use a regular piece of paper and draw it on there, you can definitely do that. If you want something a little sturdier, note cards, construction paper, whatever you have already at home. I dropped my pencil. So let me see if I can get, would you want to hold this up for me? I have my sister's here. She also works for Girl Scouts. So I'm lucky to have her here. So she's going to hold this up. Hello? Yeah, that's good. If you weren't able to print it out, so you can trace it on a piece of paper or on a piece of construction paper, you can go ahead and do that. Are you okay holding it for a minute or two?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually already have another one cut out. Oh, and do not, sorry, can you move this 1 second? Thank you. I already have one cut out. Don't cut down the center of this. This is like going to be the holder for it. So don't cut down this line, cut just the outline of it. Make sense? And then the next part. Okay, can you hold it up? So I'm going to trace this on my note cards. And it doesn't have to be perfect, so if you want yours a little bit bigger than what is on here, feel free to make it a little bit bigger. When we're done, if you want to decorate your paper knife, by all means. I know we are very creative here as Girl Scouts. Where is my piece? Where did I put him? Okay, you could probably set that down now.
Okay.
Feel free to pause it if you need to keep looking. I probably should have said that to begin with. Thank you, Beth. So, I don't know what happened to my other one. I'm going to cut this one out. People are What is your name? Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Samantha. I don't know if you're talking to me, but if I didn't mention it, my name is Samantha. I'm a girl program specialist with Girl Scouts Western Pennsylvania. So part of my job is doing events, either hosting events or working with organizations in the community to do Girl Scout events. And right now that's not possible. So we have come up with a way to still do some programming, but doing it from my home, which is actually really lovely.
My name's Lauren.
Oh, my sister's name is Lauren. She's also here. She's here for moral support. And she'll actually, if you guys have seen, we just posted another Facebook Live event for this Friday, same time, 1 p.m. And I know some people, like some kids are doing virtual classes already. So if you are not able to make it at that time, All of our lives they're automatically recorded on Facebook, and right after the live is over, it will be posted to our Facebook page, and our marketing and communications team is also going to post it on our YouTube channel. So if you go on YouTube and just search Girl Scouts Western Pennsylvania, you'll find our YouTube channel and you'll find all the videos posted there too. And all the videos will be posted on Facebook. So if you can't find it on our feed, like our timeline, if you go next, like if you're on our page on the left-hand side, you'll see a tab for videos. If you click on that, you'll see all the videos we've ever posted, which will include the lives. But lost my train of thought. This Friday we are doing another live, and the patch we're doing is Weird Science, which I'm super excited for. But one of the steps is to share it with a friend or family member, and I have my sister here, so we will be doing that one together. And I've already tested some of the experiments for the Mad Science. I made a homemade lava lamp, and it was super fun, and I am 24, almost 25 years old, and it was still super fun. Okay, cutting out. I'm getting sidetracked. And we have these set for an hour, the Facebook Lives. But again, this is our first time doing this, and I'm sure it will depend on what the patch is. But might go a little under, might go a little over. Just a heads up. Okay, got it all cut out. Hopefully you are there as well. So I have this piece cut out. So I'm going to fold that in half right in that center line. So it should look something like this. Okay. And then I have the knife piece. Like this. Okay, and then you'll see that it has like little holes here, and on this one as well at the bottom. So I have a hole punch where I'm going to punch those holes through. If you don't have a hole punch, if you have a parent that can help you either punch it through with like a pen or a pencil or a pair of scissors, I've also done that as well. So I'm going to actually put it all together first. I'm going to stick the knife in the center here. Stick the knife in the center there. Make sure it's not poking out the end. Punch a hole through all three. Be careful not to get too close to the edge so I don't. There we go. Nice little hole through the bottom. And then it calls for a brass fastener. I don't have a brass fastener. So I have like a twist tie from bread, or I'm sure if you have like a little piece of string or thread, that will work too. You're just going to thread it through the holes, and then I'm going to twist towards the outside here. And then I have some excess, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And my mom keeps twist ties, so I have plenty. But again, if you don't have a twist tie or a brass fastener, thread works. It looks, might need better lighting next time. It looks a little bit like that. Where do we get the printout for the paper knife? Oh, the printout was on the knife safety handout, which you could get on our website. But you can freehand draw it. Here, I'll show these. It's a pretty easy shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can hand draw these. My big brother's supervising me. Yeah, that's okay. It's nice to see people talking in the comments. Okay, so once you have those cut out, and again, feel free to pause me, rewind me if you need to go back. I'm going to take my lipstick. If you have lipstick, if you don't, no worries. It's just a little extra thing you can do. So red lipstick, and I'm going to take it on what would be the sharp part of my knife. And I'm just going to put red lipstick on the outside, all the way to the top, and any part that would be sharp. Oh, somebody sent a comment with a link to the site if you need to print out the knife safety sheet, patch sheet. Okay, so we'll stick that inside, and then we're just going to practice opening and closing our knife. And the red lipstick, if you get red lipstick on your fingers, that means that you did it wrong. You would have cut yourself. So we want to hold it like this, and then we want to open it with 2 hands, safely and slowly. Open it all the way up, as far as it'll go. Make sure I didn't get any lipstick on my fingers. I'm going to practice opening and closing. Everyone doing okay? Sharp part is on the inside, not the outside. That's okay. No worries. Either side works. Mine ripped a little bit. If it rips, tape works. Just going to practice getting that knife out of there without getting that lipstick on my fingers. Everyone doing okay? Okay, so now that we have our paper knife, if you've practiced a little bit, continue opening and closing. Have mom or dad or brother give it a shot. Make sure you use 2 hands, your fingers on the outside of the knife. Okay, so if you have we're going to start going over this printout. No worries if you don't have it. I'll be reading all of them out, and I'll ask some questions as we go. You guys can answer in the comments. Okay, first is, we're going to go over 4 different things about knives. First is opening and closing knives, then caring for knives, knife etiquette, and knife use. Okay, so first one is opening and closing knives. Always use both hands to open a folding knife. So, folding knife just like this, we want to use both hands to open it. Gives us more control, right? The part, if you have the lipstick on the other side, let me take this out. I have my lipstick on this side, but if you have it on the other side, that's fine too. Either side works. Okay, so keep fingers on either side of the knife. And it says, if you have a folding knife like this one, obviously it's a little different if you have a knife like this that's in the sheath. You want to avoid grabbing it like this, because obviously the knife comes out here and you can cut yourself there. So make sure to hold it on the sides. When closing, keep fingers to the side and refrain from wrapping fingers around the handle into which the blade will be inserted. So opening or closing, you don't want to wrap your hand around here because the knife could cut you this way. Another reason to start with paper knives so we can practice. Okay. Always open and close a knife slowly and intentionally. Make sure we're paying attention. Watch what we're doing. Slowly, no need to rush. Keep the knife closed when not in use or when being carried. So you may, if it's open and you're running to get something, you may just set it down and go do something else, but you want to always make sure that your knife is closed. If it has a safety on it, make sure the safety's on before you leave it. Don't ever leave it open, right? And then close the knife before passing it to someone. So I wouldn't want my knife open and be passing it to someone because I could hurt them. So make sure we close it before we pass it on to someone else. And if you want to try passing it to whoever's with you, and see if you can pass it and make sure you don't get the lipstick on your fingers. So we want to close it up first and pass it. We have any other suggestions for how to handle a knife carefully? You can go ahead and put them in the comments. I have someone asking, what do you do with the red lipstick? Make sure you put it on whatever side of the knife is pointing outwards. If you put it on both sides, that works too. Whatever part would be sharp on the knife. If you're having trouble opening and closing your knives, it might be because this part is too long. You see mine kind of ripped there. But if you just stick it in, mine's no longer connected, but I can still practice opening by holding down here. Doesn't have to be perfect, just practicing. Never use a dull knife because it will slip. We'll go over that also. Any color lipstick will work. Yes, definitely. Doesn't have to be red lipstick. Any other ideas? Don't hold the knife straight up. Always cut away from your body. Yep, we'll be talking about that too. Hold it down when you're walking. So if you have a knife, make sure it's closed. Hold it down to your side, just like you would with scissors. Don't touch the pointy side. Do not. Very good suggestion. When you pass the knife, you need to say the person's name, have eye contact, and don't let go until they say thank you. Yes, that is awesome. We'll be going over that as well. Awesome suggestions. Don't run with the knife. Absolutely. Never point a knife at someone. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go on to caring for knives, but we are going to cover some of that stuff that you guys have already mentioned. Keep knives dry and off the ground. Anybody know why we would want to do that? Why we don't want to keep our knife wet? What could happen? Don't joke around with knives, correct? Not a toy. Don't hold a knife at someone, yes. It could rust. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Make sure you always, if you use your knife, it gets wet, make sure to carefully dry it off. If you leave it wet, it will rust. Exactly. They rust if they get wet. Yep. A wet knife could slip and cut you. It was wet and outside it will rust. Yes, everyone's saying rust. Good job. Awesome. Keep knives away from dirt and sand. Any suggestions on why we should not do that? Why should we not have a dirty knife or get sand on it? If it's on the ground, it could cut someone's foot. Yeah, absolutely. Never leave a knife somewhere that someone could accidentally cut themselves on it. Yes, it will dull the knife. Yes, yes. If it's in sand or dirt, it could dull the knife. It could put nicks in it. And a sharp knife always works better than a dull knife. So yes, we don't want it to get it dirty. If we do, we want to make sure we clean it off, dry it off as well. If you put it in the dirt, it could cover it and step on it by accident. Yes, absolutely. Yes, someone could step on it. Awesome, awesome job, guys. Could make it more difficult to open. Yes, that is also a great point. If it's dirty, if it gets rusted, it might not open, and then you try harder to open it, and you could get hurt. You could cut yourself. Yep. Okay. Keep knives away from open flames and extreme heat. We get some suggestions on why to keep away from heat. A dirty knife could be mistaken as something else, and someone could get hurt. Yes, good point. Good point. Next time you use the knife, if it's dirty, then whatever you're using it on could get dirty. So if you're using it on food, you wouldn't want that. Another good point. It will melt. Yes, if you get the knife hot, it could warp the metal. Um, it could make the edge of the knife not straight, which could cause it to not cut straight and could slip. It will change the grain structure and integrity of the blade. It could melt in the heat, yeah, or it could burn you, absolutely. Um, if metal is in heat, it gets really hot. Could change the shape of the blade, absolutely. Great answers, you guys. Okay, the next one is do not use your knife to pry things open, to hammer, or to chop on wood, unless it is specifically meant for that. But for the most part, don't use a knife to pry anything open, to hammer, or to chop on wood. I have some people saying that the knife could stick inside if it gets hot. Yep. Awesome, guys. Okay, carefully clean your knife when you're done using it. I think we covered a lot of that already, why we don't want a dirty knife. And make sure when you do clean it that you're careful, that you don't cut yourself. And then I wanted to add one on here that I saw online. If you have a folding knife, they recommend you oil the hinge or pivot points, like on a pocket knife, because if it gets stuck, like some people were saying, and you try harder to open it, you could end up cutting yourself. So if you do have a folding knife, you can oil it to make sure that it doesn't stick. Knife etiquette. Knives should not be used to deface or disfigure any property, plants, or animals. So just basically be respectful, which I know as Girl Scouts we all do anyway. So always remember a knife is not a toy. That's our next thing. Knives are not toys and should not be shown, waved, or thrown in jest or in a threatening manner. So like we've been saying over and over, it's not a toy, it's a tool. You want to treat it with respect. You want to treat everything around you with respect, so you don't want to disfigure any property, plants, or animals with your knife. Okay, and knife use. Our first checkpoint is make a safety circle. Can anyone type in the comments and let me know what is a safety circle when it comes to knife use? Someone said don't carve trees. Yes. Don't use it for the wrong problem. I did see online people might use it to pry things open, a knife to pry things open, or use it as a like screwdriver, and that's not what they're meant for, and you could damage them. So always use knives for what they're meant for, which we went over is cutting and carving. Never play with knives, absolutely. Yes, you could hurt yourself, or you could hurt someone else, or a pet. Where are my kitty cats? I wouldn't want to hurt them, of course. Safety circle. Yes, your own space. Stay a certain distance away from the user. Yeah. Always be careful with a knife. No one Let me see. No one inside an arm's width of a circle. That is it. So let me stand up. Hopefully you can still see me. Yes. So if I'm using a knife, you can see both my hands. I'm going to put both hands out to my side, spin in a circle, and no one or nothing that you're using the knife on should be within that circle. So that's our safety circle. That way we don't hurt someone else, something, we don't hurt ourselves. That's what your safety circle is. So good job, those of you who are saying the arms width apart in a circle. Arms distance, yes. Awesome, awesome, you guys. Next one is hold a knife by its handle. Do not place your thumb or finger on the blade. So I have my knife here. I always want to keep a good grip on it. When I open it nice and slow. And I don't want to put my fingers on that blade. I know some people, when they cut, sometimes have a tendency to put their finger here for more control, but you always want to keep it on the handle. Put that back in my sheath while I'm not using it and set it down. Use only a sharp knife. Dull knives are dangerous. And I know some people have been saying this, but can we give me some reasons why a dull knife might be more dangerous than a sharp knife? Give a second for people to start commenting. Don't use knives. We want to use knives, if we're younger, we want to use knives with an adult. Make sure we have adult supervision when we're using a knife. Do not sleep with a knife. Yes, great point. Always keep it in a safe place where it can't accidentally cut you. It might slip. Okay, yes. So a dull knife could slip more than a sharp knife. Might be rough around the edges. Right, more pressure so it could slip out of your hand. Yes, exactly. So if you're trying to cut something and the knife is too dull, you'll try to push harder and then it could slip and you. So if it's sharper and it cuts easier, then you're much safer, which might sound counterproductive. But yes, a sharp knife is much safer than a dull knife. Good job, you guys. A dull knife could slip. Yes, absolutely. It won't cut as cleanly. Yep, all good answers. Causes more pressure, so you're pushing harder, so you could cut yourself harder because you're pushing harder on the knife, right? It would slip. Yes, awesome, great answers. Okay, let's move on to our next checkpoint. Keep a firm grip on the handle. Yes, so like I was showing before, keep a nice firm grip on your handle because if it's loose, again, it could slip out of your hand, it could cut you, right? Okay, when scraping or whittling, use pushing strokes away from your body rather than toward. So we'll go over that a little bit too when we start whittling. But when you are carving, always away from you. You don't want to go towards you because you could, if this was open, I could cut myself by accident, especially if it gets stuck and I pull hard, I could hurt myself really badly. So always away from you because then if it slips, it's going to slip away from me. Yes, awesome, all good answers. Could have trouble taking the knife out if it's dull. Yes, good point. Do not throw your knife. So I know there are some knives that are specifically designed for throwing, but if you're using a knife that is not, it should never be thrown. Okay. Always hand a knife to a person with the blade that you're going. Sorry, just reading some of the comments. Yes, okay. What is next? Before walking or running, put your knife down or close it and put it away. So yes, we have went over this a little bit already. Never want to leave a knife out. If you have one like this, make sure it's back in the sheath. when you set it down. Any other reasons why you might not want to leave your knife out, even if no one's using it? You have it set on the table. Why should it still be put away? I have people saying it could go in your eye if you're carving towards you, always away from you. Someone's saying a baby could get it. Yes, so somebody who's younger than you might not realize what it is and might grab it. Might grab it by if it's open, they might grab it by the sharp side, not knowing. Don't ever forget drinking by knives. Don't drink by knives. If you use a knife on the counter with your friend while an adult is not looking, don't pick it up. Yes, so we always want to have our parents' permission before using knives, parent supervision. It could fall, yeah, so even if it's on the table and it's open, maybe somebody bumps the table. If that knife's open, it could fall off and it could cut you. Awesome. Yeah, people can accidentally knock it off. Younger brothers or sisters could grab it, not knowing. Young kids will play with it, not knowing. Yes, absolutely. Someone who's not paying attention maybe puts their hand down on the table, not noticing, and they cut themselves. Awesome answers, you guys. Okay, so last one is close a knife before passing it to someone. If the knife does not close, so maybe like mine, hold the dull edge of the blade with the sharp edge facing the ground. Offer the handle to the intended receiver. The receiver should acknowledge that she or he has received it and has a grip on it by saying thank you. So I noticed some people had mentioned that before. When you're handing a knife off to someone, make sure that they acknowledge that they have it. They should say thank you. You know that they have it, and then you can let go. Because obviously, if they don't have it and they drop it, somebody could get hurt. So I'm going to carefully take my knife out of the sheath. And then if I didn't have a way to close this, I was handing it to someone else. I do have a sheath for this one, so if I was handing it to someone else, I would put it in the sheath before I handed it over. But if I didn't and the knife was out like this, I'm going to take the blade side, but I'm going to take the top part here with this sharp part facing down, and I'm going to hand them the handle so that they can grab it like this. Okay, always want the sharp part facing down, and to them like this. But hopefully you have a sheath for your knife, or it's a folding knife, and you can put it away first. Carefully gonna close that. Someone says you're kind of scaring me. I'm sorry. Okay, and I think that ends our checklist that we have. But if anyone, I know we have some parents on here that know that may have done some knife safety before, have taught knife safety, or have a knife that they use. If anybody wants to type in the comments if you have any other suggestions on knife safety. Do not give a knife to a baby. Yes, please do not give knives to children unless they have adult supervision, especially not a baby. I see some people saying thank you so much. We are not done though. We have a third step. So while I'm waiting for people to offer their suggestions, we can go ahead and start on our third step, which is use a knife to carve something in a bar of soap, which is, I'm sure, what we're all most excited for. So remember, we just read one of the safety things is when we're whittling, we're going to carve away from ourselves. So make sure to keep that in mind once we start. So I will read off the instructions real quick. Okay, first step. Get some nice bars for the eventual finished product. So if you want a nice finished product, use a nice bar of soap. I like Dove. But while you're practicing, if you have some inexpensive practice bars, like I said, I have this one that I got from a hotel. Then think of some designs that will not be impossible to carve. So since we're all beginners, some examples are a fish, a simple bird, or perhaps just a shape such as a heart are good starting points. So I think I am going to start with a heart. I think that's easy, but I think a circle works well also, just to get practice that whittling. If you just want to practice whittling, that works too. Sketch the outline of the shape on the bar with a plastic knife or other sharp instrument such as a toothpick. So I know I said to bring a toothpick with you or a pencil. If you want to carve your shape in the back of your soap, so you know what you're doing, something that's not super sharp. You can use the tip of your knife as well. You probably won't be able to see it. I don't think you can see it, but I carved a little heart in the back of that, so I know what I'm whittling for. Okay, so hold the knife in your right hand if you're right-handed, left if you're left-handed. Carefully unsheath it. Pay attention to the feel of the knife. How thick a layer can you take off at once? Where does the knife get stuck? So if you want to grab your soap, make sure the knife isn't, you have a grip on the soap so that the knife isn't coming into contact with your hand. You're going to whittle away. It's hard to show on this camera. Down and away. Again, not towards yourself. And then you can press a little harder, but if you feel your knife getting stuck, that's where you know that it's too hard. So you want to make sure you're only going where your knife will smoothly shave off the soap. So I know it might be tempting to do it real fast or do it a little bit harder so you get more off of it. Let's see if I can angle this down. I take it nice and slow, little layer at a time. If you're not comfortable doing a shape yet, just practice shaving. Nice and slow. Not sure if you can see the lighting's a little strange. And I also have my piece of paper. If you have a piece of paper left over, I'm actually using my shavings. I'm going to keep them all on this piece of paper so I can use them for something else later. Does anyone have any suggestions as to what we can use our extra shavings for later? Let the parents show you first. Yes, if you have a parent with you, have them show you first. Don't want to get too close to my hand. Always going away, so even if it slips, it's going to slip outward. But if you have a nice sharp knife, away. Slow and steady is the best way to cut the soap. Awesome suggestion. Yes, you can use the soap shavings to wash your hands so you don't get sick. Awesome. Experiments. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of experiments you can do with soap. Somebody said, have a bubble bath. Awesome. Yes, I would definitely put my shavings in a bath. Have a nice bubble bath. Melt it and then make a new bar of soap. Yeah, so if you have like a shape, like a mold, if you melt down the shavings and put it in the mold, you can make a new shape. Make a new bar of soap. Yep, absolutely. Keep sharp knives away from younger people. Absolutely. And at the beginning we said daisies should be using plastic knives. So daisies go up to 6. That's right. So if you're younger than 6, might want to talk with a parent. Parents should see if they are ready. Yes, it does have scalds on the knife. Clean my older brother because he smells. That's adorable. Yes. Keep bugs out of the garden. Oh, I've never heard that. That's a good idea. Make a smaller soap bar. What if we're using clay? I'm sure you can use the clay shavings. Put them back together. Do not play with a knife. Yes, absolutely. I'm kind of just shaving here. I haven't really put it into a shape. I'm still a beginner too, so I'm just practicing my shaving. And then I did see online, there's plenty of tutorials about soap carving. And I saw if you have a piece of, my soap's pretty hard, so I don't think a paper clip will go through. But if you have soap that's a little softer, I've seen people use paper clips to get the more detailed parts of a soap carving. So if you have a paper clip, you might use that. Put it in the shower. Yes, you can use your shavings in the shower. I also saw online that you can take your soap shavings, put it in an old sock, and tie the sock at the end, and then you can hang it like your garden or your shed where your hands might get dirty, and then you can use it to wash your hands off as like a soap dispenser, or mix it with water and make liquid soap. I've seen people say if you mix it with water in a blender, you can make liquid soap. I'm just practicing carving. Looks like we have 10 minutes left. So I'll continue shaving, talking a little bit, reading some of the comments. You guys can continue talking in the comments. But if you're done with your shavings, you have completed all the steps for the patch, and you have earned your knife safety patch. So feel free to hop off if you're all set with your soap carving. I'll stay on a little bit, talk a little bit more through the comments. Feel free to keep commenting with other people. But otherwise, you guys are all set. Thank you for joining. Congratulations on earning your knife safety patch. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Yeah, I think this went well for our first live. Sure, there's some kinks to work out, but thank you all for joining. This is super fun. But if you want to stay, I'll be for another couple minutes. If you guys want to stay and hang out. And then, like I said before, after this is over, this live video will be posted to our Facebook page directly after. Facebook automatically posts it. And then we will also put it on our YouTube page. And you can find it on YouTube by searching Girl Scouts Western Pennsylvania and finding our Facebook page. You're welcome. Lots of thank yous. You're welcome, guys. Thanks for joining. You can use the shavings to wash your dog. Ooh, that's a good idea. I'm sure plenty of dogs are happy that people are home these days. My cats are definitely happy. Well, 2 of them are happy. One of them is indifferent. Oh, somebody's making a fish. Knives should not be used as a weapon. Knives should be used for cutting. Only use knives. Oh, it's going away. Come back. Only use knives if you are in danger or need to survive at camp or something. Yes, definitely. For cooking, for carving, for cutting. I know some adults have knives for safety, but for our sake, for girls, I would use them for carving, cutting, camp. I'm having lots of fun carving, even though I'm not really making a shape. You can see, I don't know if you can see my soap carvings. Got a pretty good amount going here. I like powder, soap powder. There's plenty of stuff you can do with soap powder, I'm sure. Google search. with your parents' permission. Oh, there's also, I forgot to mention, on the patch of the month sheet, there is a knife safety pledge. I don't know what happened to mine. Oh, there it is. At the bottom, there's a knife safety pledge. So if you're able to, print it out now. I'm sure you could find a way to digitally sign it as well. But it's a knife safety pledge. So I will respect my pocket knife at all times and use it as a designated tool. I will always keep my pocket knife closed and stored when not in use. I will use my knife when there is a chance that someone could be hurt. Oh, I will not use my pocket knife when there is a chance that someone could be hurt. I promise to never throw or toss my pocket knife. I will always use my pocket knife safely and in a manner I was instructed to do so. So there's a little place for your Girl Scout to sign there. Again, if you can't print it out, no worries. I'm sure you can sign it digitally. Or a verbal, if your girl agrees to those things, that works well too. This is very relaxing. You might have to take up soap carving as a hobby. There's tons of tutorials on YouTube. I saw someone make an elephant out of soap. It was super cute.
Someone said if you're using clay and it sticks to the knife, be sure to use a separate tool to get it off.
Oh, good point. My sister is also on our Facebook Live right now. She said if you're using clay and it's sticking to the knife, use a separate tool to get the clay off the knife. But it's just for practice. And a plastic knife should work well on soap as well, especially if you have a softer bar of soap. A plastic knife will work on that.
That was from Ryan Bryan. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for the tip. Oh, someone says they're wearing the same shirt as me. Awesome. I like this shirt. Oh, I just see his comment now. Oh, someone made a bird. After this is posted, feel free to comment on it with pictures of the soap carvings you made. That would be super cool for everybody to see. Grab him. I have cats coming around. Sure. Let me grab him real quick. And then we'll say goodbye because I think we're good to go now. Okay. This is one of my cats. His name is Queso. He said, "Good job, everybody. We hope you had fun. See you soon. Don't forget to join us on Friday for our weird science patch. Just make sure there isn't anything else. Oh, the knife safety patch can be purchased from our GSWPA shops for $1.25. Our shops are closed right now, obviously, but you can email or call our customer care. So for email, our customer care is just customercare@gswpa.org, or you can call our customer care number, which is 800-238-3355. Have that memorized.
248.
248? Are you sure?
248.
Hold on. You just commented what the number is. Let me see what it is. 800-248-3355. To place your order with the GSWPA shop. During this time, we're offering free shipping on email orders. So you can email or call, or you can call our Pittsburgh shop directly. I don't have that number off the top of my head, but it is on our website. And we'll post all that contact info in the comments. And just as a reminder, fun patches, so the knife safety fun patch, once you get it, can be worn on the back of the vest or sash. But if you're not able to get it right now, no worries. You can purchase it anytime. And I guess just to close everything up, we're happy that we can support the girls and the parents and volunteers during this time. I know it's been a difficult time for a lot of people, but we're happy that we can just help in any way we can by at least offering some programming for girls that they can do from anywhere and stay connected with Girl Scouts. So again, stay tuned to our Facebook. I'm sure you like and follow us to get updates for what other stuff we're doing, because we have some other virtual programming coming. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, always feel free to contact our customer care, and we will get you to the right person. So thank you again for joining. I hope you guys have a lovely day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and you can't stop Girl Scouts. Bye, guys.